Coming up on Primetime, the playoff push has already begun. Would KC pile drive Denver, or would the Broncos say to the Chiefs, enough is enough? Behind the two leaders, could the Raiders spin back into contention? The Redskins prove they're willing to crawl to get to 11-0. The Giants try to haul themselves back into the hunt, while the Colts try the sleight of hand to upend the Bears. Hey, you, come back. This show's not over until the gun goes off. Primetime is good. Everybody, I'm Chris Berman. Welcome to Week 12 of ESPN's NFL Primetime. As always, intriguing action from east to west, from north to south. To help us get our bearings straight, Tom Jackson, Robin Roberts, as we look at week number dozen. It doesn't make sense, but that's what we're going to look at, week a dozen day games. But first, we have night action here on ESPN. Well, the Giants have beaten the Cowboys 22-9. San Francisco wasn't pretty. They beat Phoenix 14-10. Detroit has the ball under 2 minutes to go. They lead the Rams 21-10. San Diego Chargers trying to pull an upset against the 9-1 Saints. Marion Butts has scored a touchdown with 3 minutes to go. Saints have the ball under 2 minutes to go. The game is tied at 21-all. And the Raiders roll the Seattle Seahawks 31-7. Now, as I was saying, Mike Patrick, Joe Theismann, pretty intriguing backdrop there at the Astrodome, but they'll clear it up for us tonight at 8 Eastern Time. We'll clear up week number 12 in the afternoon of the NFL. The Chicago Bears, could they up their mark to 9-2? Or would the Indianapolis Colts be hitting hard and try to keep the bad news Bears out of the end zone? Some good games coming. Keep it where it is.
By Acura Automobiles. Experience precision-crafted performance. NFL Primetime is brought to you by Dollar Rent-A-Car. Right on the airport. Right on the money. And by Bud Dry. Dry brewed so it drinks light, yet satisfies completely.
So often, some football matchups can be David against Goliath. The haves and the have-nots. We go to the Hoosier Dome to present the Bears and the Colts. You know the Bears. They came in 8-2. Mike Ditka, the snarling and large and mean Bears, against the little Colts. Would the little Colts have a chance today against the Bears? Well, Neil Anderson was out, and Mark Green tried to fill in his shoes, but he found that those shoes were filled with Indianapolis Colts. John Hand hands him a 2-yard loss, and then it's Bears. And Keith Taylor pounces on it. Can it be the Colts smell an upset? Their winning streak is at 1. Could they make it 2? They have the ball at the 8. 2 plays later, Jeff George, Jesse Hester. Unbelievable. The Colts lead at 7-0. They're running the run and shoot, Tom.
Yes, and Jeff George here shows his maturity, makes a good read on the blitz, goes to Jesse Hester and throws the pattern right behind the defender for the touchdown.
Richard Dent always in your face. Here he just misses a sack. But later on, Jeff George's sackless streak is at 1 game because Dent puts him down for career sack number 100.5. He's hit the century mark. Bears are down 7-0 in the first. 3rd and goal from the 6. Jim Harbaugh. He dives. Is he in? The replay officials ruled it a touchdown, and Tommy, they saw it right.
Yep, the rule states that all you have to do is have the ball cross the front plane of the end zone before your knee hits, and it does right there. It's a good call by the officials.
All right, so late second, the Colts are down 10-7, but not out. Jeff George, Sammy Martin, and they're out of bounds with 16 seconds to go. Final seconds of the half. Dean Biasucci for 47. Gone. And we are tied at 10 at the half of the Hoosier Dome. In the second half, Rick Venturi's squad still trying to smell upset, but Jim Harbaugh to Brad Colonel Mustard in the conservatory with the lead pipe. It's a touchdown. The Bears lead at 17-10. 101 yards rushing, 44 yards receiving for Mustard on the day. Bears put it away late third. You remember Anthony Morgan, the 5th-round draft pick that faked that from Tennessee. His second touchdown in 2 weeks. The Bears now have a 24-10 cushion. Colts were game on this afternoon, but again, Harbaugh the winner. Isn't he almost always? Passed for almost 300 yards, and the Bears up their mark to 9-2. They beat the Colts at Indianapolis 31-17. Jets at the Patriots in Foxborough. Windy. It was an association game because everyone knows it's windy. In the second quarter with the Jets leading 7-0, Kenny O'Brien, not supposed to be able to move, but he moves to find Chris Burkett at the touchdown. It's a laugher, right? Jets lead 14-0 at the half. They lead at 21-0 in the third, and then, once again, the cardiac pass. Hugh Millen to Michael Timpson. 18 yards before he's finally put down. Millen to starving Marvin Cook for 17. You know who that is. Dick McPherson, pumped up. But Gene Chilton, the center, snaps it over Millen's head. Mo Lewis recovers for Bruce Coslin's Jets. Next series, Millen. Irving Fryer knights through the defense for 16 yards. Then Millen, the drop play to John Vaughn. And Vaughn says not only the coach gets the crowd into it, I will. In the second play of the fourth quarter, watch out. Dennis Byrd, sack, fumble, Jets recover. But this conehead says the Pats are still in it. 3 minutes into the fourth, the Patriots hang in there. Irving Fryer, he could go all the way to Rhode Island. Irving, come back. Mack, psych, it's a 21-7 Jets lead. 6 minutes left in the game. Brad Baxter, fumble. Vincent Brown makes the hit and the recovery with one arm. 4th and 1. John Vaughn behind the block of Ivy Joe Hunter. Oh, my goodness, the Patriots are with a win. 7-21-14. Flag him. It's a late hit on Dick McPherson. Next play for the Jets. Could it be again? Baxter fumbled up. Chris Singleton hit. Brent Williams recovers. John Vaughn has an opening. He slides. Is it a touchdown? First time they ruled him down.
John Vaughn here slips, but you can see he's untouched. Rolls toward that end zone for the TD.
Bruce Coslin awaits the call. It's a touchdown. Dick McPherson loves the call. We're tied at 21. 13 minutes and a little bit of change, and the Patriots have come from 21 points down. A tough second half for Ken O'Brien until the final drive. To Al Toon for 22. Freeman McNeil carried only twice today. This one went for 22 yards. Then O'Brien is loony because he finds Toon down inside the 5. Setting up O'Brien to the converted lineman, now wearing 46, former Pet Trevor Maddich. Are you kidding? O'Brien and the Jets lead 28-21. Calm down. We know how to come back, says Matt. 4th and 10. First down. Fryer for 16. Millen to Timpson. Millen to Fryer. Out of bounds at the 8. 12 seconds to go. To Greg McMurtry. The Jets think they have the fumble, Tom.
The ball popped out. It was ruled not a fumble on the field, and it was not reversed upstairs.
Bruce Coslin can't bear to watch. 4th down, last play, stuffed by the Jets. John Vaughn is stuffed by the right side of the defense, and Tommy, this play took a long time.
The thing that strikes you about the play, Chris, is that it was a slow developing play, even though it came straight toward the line of scrimmage.
They wanted to run behind Bruce Armstrong, the left tackle, but they went right behind the tackle rather than a more of a quick opener type. It cost them. The Patriots' dream dies on the 1 front line, and the Jets beat them 28-21. So the Jets up their mark to 6-5. They're back in the playoff hunt, of course. I'll tell you what, Tom, the Patriots, they look at their watch. Between 1 and 3 o'clock, they're not a very good team. Between 3 and 4 o'clock, they're a great team. They're certainly not a great team overall, but they're coming.
Well, I think between Coach McPherson and Coach Collier, their defensive coordinator, they've built a lot of character. Now, on last week's game day, Coach McPherson said character only counts so much. We have to start winning some games. Well, I think they're very close, obviously, by the scores and how some of their games have ended. Next year, I think they'll win a lot of these football games.
So they've come back to win a couple. They've had heartbreak the week before in Miami, a couple weeks ago also at home against Denver, almost against the Jets, but they are coming. Tell you who else is coming. The Chicago Bears. Yeah, I know 9-2. What are you talking about? Tell you what we're talking about. Their running game is coming. Today, without Neil Anderson, Munster got over 100 by himself. Their first 6 games where they were very good 4-2, they averaged under 100 a game. Last 5 games rushing. The time of year you need to run the football. They're averaging over 150 yards a game, and they've won all the games. when we return, the Falcons take it out on the Buccaneers. And the Redskins, could they go 11-0? Arthur Monk had something to say about it against the Steelers. We'll be back. The Detroit Lions remain perfect at home. They have defeated the Rams 21-10. And welcome to those of you that have watched the San Diego Chargers pull off their second upset in 2 weeks at home on a last-second field goal. John Connie did it with a 19-yard field goal as they beat the Saints 24-21. Highlights of both of those games a little bit later on in prime time. Well, last week, Robin, the Atlanta Falcons didn't have a lot of highlights.
Nope,
they were
they
watching the Redskins roll it up themselves. So what a perfect time to welcome the Bucs home.
A perfect time. And it was the Bucs and the Falcons coming off completely different ball games from last week. Tampa Bay actually looked pretty good, upsetting the Lions, and the Atlanta Falcons just trying to forget that bombing at RFK. And they didn't have time to feel sorry for themselves. The Falcons wanted to stay and hunt for the final NFC playoff spot, and yes, it was back. Prime time. Back from that thigh injury. Vinny Testaverde and the Bucs looking for the first win in Atlanta. Second quarter, Testaverde intercepted by Prime time. Laterals to Scott Tate. Then later in the second quarter, Vinny looking for Mark Carrier, but who was there? Prime time. His second pick of the day. Returns at 35 yards down to the 10-yard line. Also in the second quarter, Testaverde from his own end zone loses the ball, and the Falcons get a safety, TJ. They're up 12-zip.
Yeah, and as you watch here, Vinny Testaverde has the ball, and Robert Wilson, trying to throw a block for him, knocks the ball out and causes the fumble.
Thanks there, buddy. Another rough day for Vinny. 6 of 16 for 71 yards and 2 interceptions, and, of course, that fumble for a safety. Falcons quarterback Chris Miller back from a rib injury. He told his offensive line before the game, "You protect me, I'll buy you dinner." They must have been hungry. Second quarter, Miller finds a wide-open Andre Rison for a 39-yard score. The Falcons lead 19-0. Floyd Peters not pleased with his defense at all. Still in the second quarter, Miller again, and Rison again is wide open from 12 yards out. The Falcons lead 26-0. Time ticks down the second quarter. Miller hits Rison one more time from 15 yards out. The Falcons lead 33-zip. 33 second quarter points, a club record, the most in the NFL this year. And into the fourth quarter, it's 36-0 Falcons. Mo Gardner of the Falcons sacks Jeff Carlson, who fumbles, and Oliver Bennett, wearing number 72 like the fridge, goes 75 yards. He's got some pretty good speed. The play goes for 75 yards. The Falcons are up 43-zip. They roll by a final of 43-7. The Bucs fall to 2-9. Falcons are 6-5. Have a big game next week in New Orleans against the Saints, which just happens to be our game here on. We'll pick out with the Saints and the Falcons, right.
Please.
The Vikings looking for their first win at Lambeau Field since 1986. A lot of talk about if Herschel will be back next year. Will Jerry be back next year? Well, this year, the Vikings only half game back in the wild card hunt. Vikings down 7-0. Chris Carter catches Rich Gannon's pass, stretches for the first down. Then 2 plays later, Carter takes the pass and dives in the end zone. A 29-yard scoring play. The pass comes right back. Mike Tomczak hits Charles Wilson, and he gets loose. He turns us into a 75-yard scoring play, the longest Packer play from scrimmage this season. The Packers up 14-7. What do you think, TJ?
You see Tomczak here with lots of time to throw. He scans the field to his second receiver, and then you see Felix Wright and Audrey McMillan collide, giving the receiver the touchdown.
Yeah, Tomczak with 2 touchdowns, also 2 interceptions. Gannon rolls out, finds Mike Jones on a short touchdown pass. The Packers say, well, let's try that too, with time running down in the first half. Tomczak rolls out, hits Jackie Harris on a 1-yard touchdown toss. Packers up 21-14 at the half. Second half, completely different game. More physical. Vikings become more dominant. Gannon leads the Vikings on 3 long drives. This first drive ends on Carter's 17-yard touchdown reception, or was it 16 yards and then a 1-yard fumble recovery? Still counts for a touchdown, whichever way you want to do it. Good blocking allows Alfred Anderson to jump outside for an 18-yard gain to keep the Vikes drive alive. Gannon finishes off the drive himself. Would you just run it in yourself? A 4-yard scramble. Gannon, with 1 rushing touchdown, he threw 3 others. He was 19 of 30 for 215 yards. What about Herschel? He will skip his way from 6 yards out, backs it on in. He had 20 carries for 95 yards in that touchdown. The Vikings win 35-21. The Packers with just 38 yards in the second half and now 2-9. The Vikings playing back to 500, and they don't look bad in the second half. They got Detroit. That's about their toughest game. Rams also coming up in the second half, but nothing really much.
The Vikings don't do it easily, but yet they are still, and they still have their bye to come, but they are back in the playoff hunt no matter how many times they try and bury themselves. You know what else they don't usually win outdoors? They don't usually win at Green Bay. Hadn't won there in 5 years. And guess what? Outdoors, the Vikes. Bring back the Met. Let them play outside. Going into this year, they were horrible outside, 3-11. But this year, they're better outside, 3 of 5, than they are inside, 3 of 7. Bud Grant would have liked it this way. When we return, the undefeated Skins show they not only score points, they can level the opponents. Stay with us. All year, the Oilers lead the AFC in interceptions. Will it be Houston or Cleveland tonight on ESPN at the top of the hour? The question in pro football, when would the Washington Redskins fall? 56 points last week in their big win. 10-0. It's got to happen sometime, right? Well, surely an out-of-conference game at Pittsburgh, this must be the place where the Skins stumble. Joe Green knows all about Super Bowl teams and teams that have everything, like the Skins posse of Clark and Monk and Sanders. And they were going up top all day long. Third play of the game, Mark Rippon to off the Monk. Black Getter goes 63 yards. He disses. Carnell Lake finally pulled down at the 1. Gerald Wink scores a touchdown. Chuck Noll says, you know, I'd like to upset him, but I know about tough teams. 7-0 Skins. No, it's 4 because what a great catch from Art Monk. 11 yards. Another look, Tom.
Chris, amazing thing. Monk, 12 years in the league, can still make this kind of catch. Hasn't lost a thing.
Skins up 17-0 at the half. Bubby Brister watching Sam. Boy, I wish we had receivers like that. So does everybody. Rippon to Gary Clark. Rippon, as you pointed out upstairs, Tommy, may not have made that sort of throw before, and Clark has made catches like this
You
before.
saw the pressure on Rippon, and then you see the great catch by one of the posse.
All the Steelers could do was shake their heads. Meanwhile, how would Joe Walton's offense do? Well, this about sums it up. Neil O'Donnell, sacked by Jumpy Geathers. Rumbling, bumbling, stumbling, and then, unfortunately, umpire Ed Fiffick gets rumbled right there. Had to leave the game with cracked ribs. We hope he's all right. They finished with just the 6 officials. Dwight and the Family Stone is made to look like everyday people right there by Wilbur Marshall and Monty Coleman. Actually, the Steelers did get in it for a while in the second half. When O'Donnell hit Stone on a circus catch, it was a 27-14 game. Joe Gibbs just said, okay, bring it to another level. Rippon says, hey, Gary Clark, remember last week when you were wide open? This time, even if you're double covered, I'm going to find you. 34-14, Rip 21 of 28 for 325 yards. Even Jeff Rutledge got to mop it up. And he says, I want to throw to this posse too. Ricky Sanders, touchdown. Chuck Noll said, guys like these, they have that Super Bowl look. He ought to know. 28 catches for almost 700 yards in the last 2 weeks for the posse. Jim Hannafin, the line coach, so Joe Gibbs, the head coach. Hey, Joe, wake up. We're in the playoffs. We clinch a berth. We win it 41-14. Last 2 weeks, the Skins have scored 97 points. It's the earliest playoff clinching since the 85 Bears, who were also undefeated at this stage. 2 weeks, Mark Rippon, 767 yards. Wow. Bengals at the Eagles at Vet Stadium in Philadelphia. Which Bengals would show up? The good Bengals or the bad Bengals? Sam has seen mostly the latter this year. First drive of the game, first and goal of the 2. Ickey Woods shuffled for 1. Second and goal at the 1. Ickey Woods nowhere. Third and goal. Boomer is bumped by Mike Dingle. Can't dingle his way into the end zone. Fourth and goal. What do you think, Sam? Let's try the reverse. Not. Questionable play call. But these were the good Bengals. They do have some talent. Boomer assigns to Tim McGee, 15 yards. First and 10 at the 16. Esiason to James Brooks. Pretty pass, pretty touchdown, surprise. Bengals lead it 7-0. Jim McMahon has been a warrior. On 3rd and 9 from the 37, under pressure to Fred Barnett out at the 10 after a 22-yard gain.
Lewis Phillips here bearing down on McMahon, and that's what makes McMahon so tough, Chris. He'll stand in under the pressure.
1st and goal, the play fake, and when you stand in under pressure like that, the play fakes they bite on. Calvin Williams touchdown, we're tied at 7-all. With the 17-7 Philly lead, Reggie White got interested. Esiason feels the pressure from Jerome Brown, blindsided by Reggie White, who had 3 sacks today.
And even a great tackle like Anthony Munoz, who's plain injured, can't handle a guy like Clyde Simmons if he's not 100%.
Boomer left the game with an injured wrist, and you're about to see a very rare sight. A Bengal pass thrown by a righty. They didn't go to Kaiser Wilhelm, they went to Donald Hollis. Completed his first 5 and his 6th, picked off by Wes Hopkins. Should have ended it, but Jeff Eagles tried to reinvent the drop kick after 60 years of hibernation. The ball is loose, the Bengals take over, Breach kicks a field goal, now it's 17-10. 2-minute warning, no timeouts left for the Bengals yet. On 3rd down, the Eagles throw, incompletion stops the clock. Why? The Bengals have the ball with $1:46 to go. Hollis has swarmed, 6 sacks today for the Eagles, write down another loss. And for the Eagles, write down another win. They had dropped 4 in a row, but now have won 3 straight to up their mark to 6-5 as they best the Bengals today at the vet, 17-10. Tommy, let's go back to the Washington Redskins, because I think every week we can pick out a different part of the team and talk about what impresses me, Tom, is that they sit on teams right away and don't even want to let you get in the game. Then if Pittsburgh rallies to think they're in it, they swan them away like a mosquito. I mean, they don't even let you get in the game with them.
No, they don't, Chris. They have that killer instinct that's very important for a team that thinks they're headed to the Super Bowl. But I think as we talk about their weapons, maybe the most important weapon on this team is Mark Rippon. As I watched him last year, he was not this mature. He didn't have this kind of poise. And the more games they win, the more confidence he's going to gain week in, week out.
Well, you might as well be confident when you outscore your opponents by more than 20 points a game. They're 11-0, and they have that look. Boy, they really have that look that they could go all the way undefeated. Art Monk, he has that look. 8 catches today for 130 yards, gives him 781 for his career, just 38 shy of the all-time mark of Steve Largent. Oh, by the way, he's now caught balls in 127 straight games, tying Harold Carmichael for the 3rd longest streak in the history of the NFL. When we return, the biggest game of the day, the shootout atop the AFC West between the Broncos and the Chiefs. It's more than just an AFC Central title. How will he fare tonight against the Cleveland Browns? Watch it at the top of the hour on ESPN. Biggest game of the day, 7-3 Denver at 7-3 Kansas City for first place, sole possession of it in the AFC West, the football's best division. Would Marty Schottenheimer once again start to get nervous when he sees the uniforms of the Denver Broncos? Let's see. He's really struggled. Elway leads him 7-1, but today Elway was in trouble. Derek Thomas all over him. And he goes around 1 at Harvey Salem.
Yeah, from the right side of your screen, you saw him come around off of great quickness.
And this time he gets around the back, and he's all sorts of trouble. Here he blows past the running back.
You use a lighter guy like Gaston Green, you're not going to have very much success.
Steve DeBerg used to play for the Broncos today. He tried to shoot up for him again when he was picked off by Wyman Henderson, number 24. Then DeBerg almost picked off by Chadet Demre. But Tim Barnett is loose. Only the speed and strength. Sit down, son. Prevents this from being a touchdown. Watch it again.
I don't blame Charlie Dimmery for going for the interception, but those other 2 guys standing there have to make the tackle.
Christian Okoye starts bowling through a 7-yard gain. Puts Michael Brooks back 4 yards. Next play, Okoye, a 7-yard touchdown. And the Chiefs go ahead 7-3. Checking the Tom Matty playbook is John Elway. Well, I'll tell you what, why don't we hand the ball to Gaston Green? Hey, look at him go. He just might go all the way. It's a touchdown. Gaston Green. We're tied at 10 at the half as Green comes to the sidelines, and the man that he has helped put on the sidelines, Bobby Humphrey, says, not bad, son. 133 yards on the day. After a Lowry field goal, the Chiefs lead at 13-10 in the second half. Denver second possession. Elway Only he can make these throws. Rolls left, on the run, the bullet to Mark Jackson. It's a touchdown. Now, Marty Schottenheimer says Elway was over the line of scrimmage. Let's take a look.
Well, the rule says if any part of your body is over the line, then the pass is going to be an illegal pass. But, Chris, if they don't call it, then it's not a penalty.
And guess what? They didn't call it. It's a touchdown. The play stands at 17-30 to the... Oh, let me tell you about Charlie Dimry. Dimry's going to score a touchdown for the Broncos. 25-yard pick. The bird was picked off 4 times today. So, speaking of pick, they go with the pickle. Mark Vlasic, they benched the Berg. He's led him to a touchdown to bring him to 24-20. Vlasic to J.J. Burton, 20 yards. Dan Reeves is livid because he thought that he was tackled in bounds, but they call him out of bounds.
Yeah, and right here, I think that Dan knew how important time on the clock was. And as you see, the receiver's knees hit right there. J.J. Burton was down. That clock should have kept on running.
Next play, Vlasic to Rob Thomas, who caught 7 balls today to the sideline. He goes down injured. Again, Reeves is livid, saying the Chiefs are faking the injury. The Chiefs have no timeouts, and so the ref eventually agrees.
The rules provide for a 10-second runoff. The rules provide for a 10-second runoff.
So because they had no timeouts, they down it to 25 seconds. But then look, tick, tick, tick. Call a play. Snap the ball. You're wasting time. You had no timeouts. The Chiefs waste 9 seconds right there. So when Vlasic hits Troy Stratford and he can't get out of bounds, they don't have time to run up and throw the ball down. Bad clock management. What are you doing? 3, 2, 1. There's the gun. It's over. And the Chiefs, who had bad clock management in week 2 against New Orleans, and you remember that playoff game against Miami last year? Kansas City, a good team, but they got to get a watch. Denver beats them 24-20. The Seahawks and the Raiders, the next 2 teams in the AFC West. Before the game, Fred Biletnikoff warming up Willie Gall. Biletnikoff had the great hand, said, Willie, this is how you do it. The Raiders up 3-0 in the second quarter. Jay Schrader says, let's see those hands, Willie. Good hands. Touchdown. 10-0 Los Angeles over Seattle. Biletnikoff says, see, listen to me. Raiders third, next possession on 3rd down. Schrader hits Ethan Horton, who hears more than a who. He hears a first down.
Yeah, and Chris, one of the many things that Marcus Allen is capable of doing here, blocking the linebacker, Terry Wooden, so that he gives Jay Schrader plenty of time to throw the football.
And Schrader going deep to the speedster, Sam Grady. Boy, the Raiders love the vertical game, don't they? 51 yards, and Schrader looking sharp. Next play. Andrew Glover, where's the defense? 17-0. Supposed to be a tight one. The last 6 times they played, it's always been tight. Not this time. Dave Craig to Tommy Kane. And a great tackle by his teammate, John L. Williams. What?
Tommy Kane here trying to find the seam to go across the football field. Instead, he finds 231-pound John L. Williams.
That's truly ground chuck, Tom. Tommy Kane looked shaky after the play. The Raiders certainly did not. 44 seconds left in the half. A 17-7 score. Schrader to Ethan Horton. Pluck at him, rumble, fumble, stumble. Once upon a time, #1 pick who disappointed. New life is a tight end for the Raiders. 24-7 LA at the half. Schrader has thrown for 3 touchdowns in the first half alone in the Mausoleum. Second half wasn't much better for Chuck Knox. Dave Craig has good numbers career-wise against the Raiders, but not today. Scott Davis, the hero of the block kick a couple weeks ago and last week at Denver, helped combine on 6 sacks. Horton had a big day. Art Shell at the Mausoleum, 18-3. The Raiders just 1 back of the leading Broncos, tied with the Chiefs for second. Seattle now 3 back of the leaders in the West as the Raiders bury the Seahawks 31-7. Tommy, even though Denver was outgained, they were outsacked, they were not out-turnovered. And they hung in and won in a place they don't usually win, as you well know.
Yes, I talked on game day this morning, and I thought turnovers would be a key. The Broncos didn't have any the first time they met the Chiefs this year. Today, John Elway did a good job. Even though he didn't put up the tremendous numbers, he did a good job of holding the football, not throwing it up for grabs. He let his support cast get him into the end zone, people like Gaston Green. Defensively, they stopped the run game. I thought that that was very important. The thing that I thought was that Dan Reeves will have to watch is the fact that they need a long snapper on punch to get the ball to Mike Horan, because one of those bad snaps almost cost them the kind of momentum that cost them the game.
Yeah, it helped the Chiefs get back in the game, scoring the touchdown that got close. For Kansas City, Tommy, they're kind of an enigma. Obviously, they're a very good team, and they're going to make the playoffs, and they're well coached, although the clock management was shaky today. But, you know, after they slaughtered the Bills on a Monday night, and they hammered Miami, we thought this would be the team to represent the AFC West. They've been 2-2 since then. They haven't quite done the job. And it's the Raiders, a game back at Denver, but remember, they've beaten them twice. So a tie would go the Raiders' way. Really, Kansas City is kind of in third place. Steve DeBerg also isn't having the year he had last year, but then again, you can't blame him. It was a dream year for him, a year in which he threw only 4 interceptions. Today, with 4, his interception mark goes up to 9. You can't be Cinderella every year. When we return, more highlights, including primetime players.
Looks like guns the line right pass off the fingertips of Houlihan and picked up on the far side by Jim Reeves by the 15, the 10, the 5. It's a touchdown for Denver.
Fans were upset by Tampa Bay. Wayne Fonts questioned which direction the team was going in. But if the direction is home, they're in good shape.
Yeah, where they haven't lost all year long. And you feel kind of bad for the Rams, because when you're looking to snap a 4-game losing streak, the last thing you want to do is go to a place where the home team has not lost this season. Plus, you have to find a way to shut down the NFC's leading rusher. For the first time in his career, Barry Sanders got a chance to test the Rams' defense. John Robinson and defensive coordinator Jeff Fisher, their plan is to stop Sanders, force Eric Kramer to pass. Sanders takes a pitch. He's thrown down for a 6-yard loss by Kevin Green, TJ.
Yeah, Sanders tried to put one of his patented moves on Kevin Green here, but he suffered a 7-yard loss. He had 10 carries for 2 yards in the first half, Robin.
My goodness. Turnovers, they really killed the Rams this year. They're up 3-0. Buford McGee, she is stripped by Benny Blades, and the ball bounces the right way, if you're Dan Owens, that is. Lions convert. Kramer hits Robert Clark for the 6-yard touchdown pass. Lions up 7-3 at the half. After the Rams took a 10-7 lead, Sanders finally breaks one open, 25 yards on this run, a few cutback moves down to the 16-yard line. And that sets up Kramer to Clark again for the touchdown, an 11-yarder, putting Detroit up 14-10 in the 4th. On the play, offensive lineman Mike Utley suffered a back injury. He was taken to the hospital for x-rays. And then the turnovers hurt L.A. again. Jim Everett's pass is picked off by Ray Crockett, who takes it all the way down to the 33-yard line of the Rams. Everett's 13th interception of the year. Then 2 plays later, Kramer connects with a wide-open Mike Barr for a 34-yard touchdown pass. Kramer 15 of 25 for 185 yards, 3 touchdown tosses. The Lions win 21-10. They remain unbeaten at home. They're now 6-0, and it's the Lions' first victory over the Rams in the Silverdome. That was last year in the Waffle. Welcome Stan Gelbaugh to the NFL in his first start. Larry Roberts welcomes him with a sack. Later in the quarter, Roberts sacked Gelbaugh again. Steve Bono, that's only his second start, and he gets sacked by who? Eric Swan. He had 2 sacks on the day, the big rookie. Kicking also a problem for the Niners these days. Mike Hofer, 45-yard attempt. He misses. Only 10 of 20 this year for Mike Hofer. For the Niners, they regroup. Steve Bono hits Brent Jones, and watch this. Twisting catch over the shoulder. And that sets up the ball on the 2-yard line. Keith Henderson slips in for the touchdown. It's 7-zip Niners. Stan Gelbaugh, rough first half. Gets sacked by Tim Harris, his first sack. And Gelbaugh in the first half, only 2 of 5 for 22 yards. But Joe Bugle, he sticks with Gelbaugh. Going to keep him in there. In the 4th quarter, 14-3 Niners. Gelbaugh hits Ernie Jones from 27 yards out, 14-10. The Niners' lead is cut. Time winding down in the 4th quarter. Larry Roberts in hot pursuit again. It just bounces off Ricky Prohl, falls harmlessly to the ground, and the Niners hang on for the victory. That's right, 14-10 is the final. The Niners are now 5-6, and the Cards in their last 4 games, they've only scored 31 points. Not much offense.
Well, they used to be a turnover machine, but lately that hasn't worked for either. And at 5 and 6, they're in it. Niners play the Rams on Monday night.
Are you getting back on the bandwagon? Is that what I do?
They're in it. I've never gotten off that. Now, come on, that's one bandwagon. I know how it runs.
Okay.
Moving right along here in this edition of Primetime. No, that wasn't me falling off. 300-yard passers. Hey, guess who leads the list? Hugh Millen. In a comeback, didn't quite work it. But the Patriots are passing and getting close. Of course, Mark Rippon is on there. In the same game as Millen, Kenny O'Brien. Jimmy Everett threw for over 300, but it didn't work. Jimmy Johnson, he's all upset. Why would he be so upset? Can't wait to show you why. We'll show you that bandwagon in a moment. The Natalie-clad Bill Belichick and his Cleveland Browns spring the upset in the Dome against the Oilers. We'll see at the top of the hour. How far have Jimmy Johnson's Dallas Cowboys actually come? Well, today they'd find out how far they'd come because they're at the Meadowlands. And a win today would make it 2 this season over the defending Super Bowl champion Giants. But the G-men still think it's playoffs. And in the first half, Alexander Wright slides trying to return a kickoff. Adrian White, oh, he jumps on his leg. Amazingly, he's not hurt. Down 3-0, the Cowboys try to start a drive deep in their own territory. Trey Aikman to Emmitt Smith. He fumbles. Third fumble at 2. A referee ruled a fumble. Jimmy Johnson, wait a minute. He never caught the ball.
And, Chris, the rule is that you only have to do one step with the ball, have control, and do something with it to make it a fumble.
Well, that's what they called it. 2 plays later, the Cowboys blitz. Jeff Hostetler. Cowboys think they have it, but a face mask penalty is called against Tony Casillas. Jimmy Johnson already beginning to wonder who else is buried in the Meadowlands under some of the seats. That led to a field goal, and the Giants lead it 6-0. Giants' next drive, Haas from the Dallas 45-yard line finds Stephen Baker, who leaps, and the catch down to the 1. Dallas defense gets tough, though. They've stopped him twice. On 3rd and goal, Haas finds nobody open. And he's down at the 3-yard line, so it's 4th down, right? No! See that flag? Defensive holding called against the Cowboys. Let's have a look.
Yeah, if you watch very closely here, Mo Carson is blocking Dixon Edwards, but they call holding somehow on Edwards right there.
Jimmy Johnson is not enjoying his afternoon at the Meadowlands, and he can understand why. So the Giants get about 18 shots to get in the end zone. Rodney Hampton capitalizes, 13-3 Giants. 16-9 in the second half. Watch what happens to Mark Ingram as Mickey Pruitt falls into his leg trying to tackle Lewis Tillman. Ingram sat out one play, then comes back, gets in motion, and Haas buys some time and finds Mark Ingram. He's back. It's a touchdown. The Giants lead it 22-9. Hostetler, who threw for close to 400 in his first meeting with the Cowboys, is all fired up. Ensuing kickoff. Watch Lewis Tillman bear down on Alexander Wright. Oh, I guess he wanted to tell the Cowboys, you don't win. Not in our place. Not yet. Both teams vying for a playoff spot. Both are now 6-5. Dallas with a murderous schedule down the road next week at Washington. 22-9, it's the Giants. The 9-1 Saints at the 2-8 Chargers. What's a punter's worst nightmare? Asked John Kidd. Wayne Martin right up the middle. He has no chance. It's blocked. And look at defensive lineman Frank Warren. Pick it up. Rumble, bumble, stumble. Oh, Nelly, it's a touchdown. It's 14-7 New Orleans. Morton Anderson usually kicks him through the end zone. Heaven forbid he doesn't do it. Nate Lewis catches it at the 5. How to break a team's back when they think they got you down? You get a couple of you. Morton, no way. Nate Lewis is gone. It's a touchdown. And the Chargers are right back in it. We're tied. That's Jim Morris' reaction. 21-14 lead Saints in the fourth quarter. Fred McAfee on a sweep. It's a boo-boo. Martin Bayless recovers. Get up. Get up. Get rid of it. Okay? He fires to Gil Bird. Bird looks for a block from the umpire. Then gets a block from one of his other defensive backs. Then the back back where they picked up the ball originally. San Diego has a chance. Rough first half for John Freeze. But Deep Freeze leads him deep. And Marion Butts piles into the end zone, a 5-yard run, and we're tied at 21. Fourth quarter, minute and a half to go. Ex-Buffalo Bill Ronnie Harmon on the drop play, 13 yards. On the 30, 3 plays later, Freeze to Chris Samuels. He's down to the 1-yard line. It's a 70-yard drive for the Chargers against one of the best defenses in football. John Carney had a 54-yarder to win last week against Seattle. This week it's a 19-yarder. John Carney, Sheila McCray. Good night, everybody. San Diego beats the Saints 24-21. Their second straight upset. The Saints fall to 9-2, and now that leaves them with the same record as the Bears, who would win a tiebreak since they beat them head-on. Right now, if the playoffs were to start tomorrow, Bears get the second seed, not the New Orleans Saints. We've got plenty more to come here on this edition of NFL Primetime. We may take you to the Jackie Gleason show. I don't know, the Honeymooners. The honeymoon for the 100-yard rushers today. Gaston Green had 133 in the Broncos' big win. Brad Muster led the Bears to a 9-2 record. When we come back, we'll look at our primetime players. You're looking at some of our primetime players right now. We'll show you the NFLs in a moment.